Welcome to Ditch the Classroom. This is your host, Ariana Vernier, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm a teacher turned business coach who is so passionate about helping fellow mamas like you ditch the classroom and pursue your big, hairy, scary dreams. Imagine a life where you could still impact the world, but do so while following your passions and spending more time with your babies. In Ditch the Classroom, we'll explore ways you can do just that. Myself, guest experts, and amazing teachers who have also built a successful business will share tools, tips, and resources to help you ditch the classroom too. Are you ready? Here we go. Before we hop into today's episode, I had to let you in on something special I created just for you. If you've been wondering if freelancing or virtual assistance is right for you and just want to get your feet wet to see if it's a good fit, then you need my Ditch the Classroom toolkit. This toolkit comes with 2 video modules to help you figure out what services you want to offer, as well as how to package your services in a way that will help you attract clients quickly and replace your income faster. There are also 2 special bonuses included. Bonus number 1 is the Set Your Prices video, so you can take the guesswork out of what to charge. Bonus number 2 is the Top 8 Places to Find Paying Clients guide. Right now, you can grab the Ditch the Classroom toolkit and both bonuses for a steal of a price, only $27. But hurry up, because this amazing discounted price won't last long. You can grab your spot at arianavernier.com/ditch-the-classroom or find the link in the show notes. All right, let's get to the show. Hey y'all, on today's episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with Nicki Krawczyk, who is a copywriter with 15 plus years of experience writing for multi-billion-dollar companies, solopreneurs, and every size business in between. Throughout this episode, we talk about what the heck a copywriter even is, because a lot of you may not know, just like I didn't know. Nicki also coaches people to become professional copywriters and build thriving careers of their own through her Comprehensive Copywriting Academy. For her, being filthy rich, which is her brand name, means having a job you love, being good at what you do, and making great money doing it. Nicki is also one of the hosts of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. So pull up a seat, get ready, because this episode is full of juicy goodness, and I am so blessed to have had Nicki on as a guest on the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Ditch the Classroom podcast episode. We are super blessed today to have Nicki Krawczyk. She's a copywriter, and I kind of already introduced her beforehand, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. So welcome, Nicki.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So can we just kind of get started off with you telling us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this world of entrepreneurship and all of that?
Absolutely. So I have been a copywriter for more than 15 years, probably getting real close to 20, and have always loved copywriting and that element of being creative and also strategic. It's a lot of fun. And around 8 or 9 years ago, I was working on staff, and I was charged with building up a copywriting team. And the thing about copywriting is it's very different from any other type of writing, which we can go deeper into if you'd like to. But so what I did was I poached some members from the editorial team at the company and brought on some newer writers and basically taught them how to write copy. You know, we would go through each day. We had lessons, and they would bring in examples, and we would discuss it, and got to the point, obviously, where they were able to write excellent copy on their own. And once I finished all that, I thought, geez, that's the kind of thing I would have liked to have when I was getting started. And also not just learning how to write copy, but how to build my experience, how to build a portfolio, how to land clients, all that kind of thing. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put this together. And so for the past 8 years, I've been running this program, teaching people to build thriving copywriting careers of their own.
That is so cool. And congrats to you on creating something that so many people need. Before I got into this world of entrepreneurship, I was like, what even is a copywriter? So that's really cool that you created something that not a lot of people still know about, but they definitely need. So that kind of brings me into my next question is, now I know what a copywriter is, but before I was like, does that have to do with like something legal? Like what is it? So can you kind of tell my listeners what a copywriter is and does?
Absolutely. I tell people it's like the best kept secret in writing because it's the right industries know about it, but it's kind of a secret to all the other people out there who love to write and are like, how am I going to make a living at this? But so what copywriting is, it's marketing and advertising writing. It's copy that is designed to sell or to persuade. So it's websites, it's the emails you get from companies, it's packaging, it's banner ads, it's, billboards, all kinds of stuff. I always tell people, I guarantee that within like 3 to 5 feet of where you are sitting right now is some elements of copy. The thing though that I do want to make sure is really clear if someone is just kind of learning about it, just discovering it at this moment, is that it's not about being pushy or salesy. I think a lot of people, when they hear the word sales and marketing, they think, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to be underhanded. I don't want to be, pushy or anything like that. And that's really not what copywriting is. Copywriting is about connecting people who have a want or a need with the best solution, the organization or company that has the best solution to that want or that need, and helping them make that connection by writing copy that resonates with, that makes sense with that target audience, so that they have this want or this need. They read the copy and they go, oh yeah, no, oh, no, this is it. This is what I need. So it's really about more than being salesy or anything like that. It's really about making genuine connections. That's the most effective copy.
Yeah. And it's about connecting with people where they're at now and showing them like, this is where I can take you.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Showing them what the possibilities are. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely. So what kind of background, if any, do you need to become a copywriter?
Well, it's very interesting because we talk to a lot of students or people who are not yet students who say, well, I don't have a background in marketing. I don't have a background in copywriting. And they're very concerned that that's going to hold them back. The good news is that you don't have to come from a background in marketing or copywriting or anything like that. Yes, you do have to learn to do it because, as I was saying, it's a very different kind of writing, and it takes some training. But it's possible to learn. I always say nobody's born knowing how to write copy. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know anything about it, then you are in the exact right first step. You're at the exact right first step.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. So getting into copywriting, is it hard to do? Like, I know you said you have to learn kind of the steps. So is it something that just anybody can do? I know my podcast is geared mostly to teachers. Is this something that would be beneficial to teachers?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of teachers in our student base. Teachers, I think probably for a couple of different reasons, teachers tend to do well at it. Number one, because they're open to learning something new. There's so many adults that forget that learning should be a continual lifelong process. And I think because teachers obviously and literally spend every day teaching other people of whatever age, from tiny little people on up to, adults or close to adults, they remember what it's like to be in that learning phase and they're open to it. But on top of that, I think teachers have a natural affinity or ability to write in general. You don't have to have a background in marketing, but the people who are most successful at copywriting do just have a natural ability. Or, people will have said, oh, you're a good writer. Or what's even more likely is you have friends that ask you to look over emails before they send them. Or, hey, can you just take a look at my cover letter? Or can you write my cover letter for me? If you're getting requests like that, you have that natural affinity. And I think too, is those of us who are good at writing, and often as teachers are surrounded by other people who have a natural ability for it, we forget that not everyone does, because it's kind of easy for us to sit down and craft a sentence. I mean, obviously copywriting is a little bit different, it takes some work. But because it's generally easy for us to sit down and kind of craft a sentence and get across what we need to, we forget that there are a whole lot of people out there who are not able to do that. Yeah. And actually, we're talking about backgrounds, and the thing is that not coming from a marketing background is an asset in a lot of ways, because it's all our different backgrounds that bring different traits to how we've developed and what we've learned. And it's actually one of the first things that we teach our students after we get through the how to write copy and that sort of portion of the training. But when you get into how to market yourself and how to set yourself apart from the competition, it's actually your unique background and what that has engendered in you, what you have developed because of that makes you a unique copywriter. And so we help our students kind of pull that out, suss that out, and then put that into their marketing.
That's amazing. So you said you do have a lot of teachers that are students, or former teachers rather, students in your program, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely do. Can
you share any success stories with us about any of those teachers?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorites is Erin's story. Erin started with us, I want to say April or May of 2020. So just as, COVID was starting to ramp up, yay for pandemics. But she was also at a point where, as I know, and a lot of your listeners, I think, will understand, she was really starting to burn out with teaching. Even before COVID, she was kind of starting to hit that wall and going, all right, what else can I do? So she had a baby and went on maternity leave. And as if that weren't enough, she decided that she was going to find her new career during this. So she started with us just as she was beginning her maternity leave. And she thought, okay, between maternity leave and summer vacation, I'm going to give myself 5 months to replace my teaching income. And it took her 6 weeks to do it.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And we actually have an interview with her on our website if your listeners want to take a look at it. It's really great. And the thing is too, is that it's part of why I think it's such a great interview is that Erin she's not like a unicorn or anything like that. She's fantastic. Do not get me wrong. And she is a hard worker but there's nothing about her that's magical, I think she's just really a great example of how truly possible it is to do this. If you're open to doing it, if you are open to learning, and if you're willing to we give you all the steps. You just have to be willing to take those steps.
Right. And that's the great thing about teachers too, is every teacher I know just has this willingness to learn something new and to figure it out and to take messy action, to dive in before you know every single thing and just learn along the way. Even that's one thing I'm a big proponent for. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that story with us.
Oh, you're so welcome. I do. I love that story.
So a lot of times we hear that writers can't make money. Is this true?
Yeah. I heard it too. As someone who always loved writing, I loved reading, I loved writing as a kid. And I thought, I'm going to grow up and be a novelist or something like that. And, I still want to write a novel at some point. But anybody who loves to write heard it. You can't make any money as a writer. And quite frankly, and very unfortunately, in a lot of cases, that's true. Novelists really don't make any money. They have to, unless they're, J.K. Rowling or Stephen King, they have to work day jobs or something like that. People who just write for their blogs, they don't make any money unless they, sell a course or whatever. Journalists, it's such a shame, but journalists really don't make that much money. But copywriting does. And it's like I was saying earlier, it's this kind of best kept secret because there are copywriters in advertising and marketing agencies. There are copywriters in corporations. There are plenty of copywriters working freelance and thriving. Like F. Scott Fitzgerald was a copywriter before he went to being a novelist full time. Kurt Vonnegut was some of the people that we love were copywriters. So it's something that's been around for a while, but it really is this best kept secret. And one of the reasons that we get paid so well, or we have the ability to get paid so well, there are always, of course, companies that don't want to pay a lot of money and people who are willing to work for peanuts, but then best to them. Exactly. That's not what we teach. We teach you how to get good paying work. But, one of the reasons that companies are willing to pay us so well for our skill is because they can directly tie the work that we do to their bottom lines. If you're working with a client and you, just as an example off the top of my head, if you're working with a client and this client it needs a new sales page and you put together a fantastic new sales page for them, it's so much more engaging, so much more effective. They're going to see that in the sales that they make, and they will be able to tie that directly back to you. So it's very easy to value what we do. No company and no organization, frankly, because nonprofits need us as well. No company or organization can get to their goals, whatever those goals are, without effective messaging. And effective messaging is what copywriters do.
That's what I was going to say too, is that every business needs copywriters, because if you're not connecting with your ideal audience, you don't have a business, you're not selling anything. So you need to hook them.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. And obviously not every business or organization is going to hire a copywriter, even though they should. But the need is massive. And there's so much more need for good, skilled copywriters than there are copywriters to fill that need. Even, the numbers are astronomical of how much need there is for good copywriters.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So is copywriting something that you can do as a side hustle? Like if you've yet to ditch the classroom, you're still teaching, is that something that you can kind of do on the side and build it to your full time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And people can do it. People can start out part-time and, like you said, build it to their full-time if they really want to transition all the way out of teaching or whatever they're doing. Or they can continue to do it part-time, evenings and weekends, and ramp it up more in the summer if that is your teaching experience. Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of students that have that goal of being full-time eventually. And we have a lot of students that they are happy with their day jobs and just want to earn some extra money or want a different, more creative work experience, or, want to save up for kids' college or pay for trips when we can travel again, all that kind of stuff. Yes, it's very possible. And in fact, I would recommend when it's possible, it's always better to start doing it part-time, nights and weekends, unless you have, unless you're kind of flush with income, maybe a partner or something like that. If so, great, fantastic. I've never been in that experience myself, but sounds fantastic. Sign me up. But it's kind of I would advise it's a little bit better to start it that way, because then you don't have that like panic and pressure of, oh my God, I have to make this work and I have to make this work immediately. When you are doing it on nights and weekends, you have that yes, you may be ready and you may be starting to plan how you're going to transition out of your full-time job or out of your teaching job. But there isn't that pressure. And because for some people that pressure motivates them. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of people, it kind of shuts them down and keeps them from taking action. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you. That's really helpful, because I know a lot of the people listening to this podcast haven't quite taken the leap out of the classroom yet, but maybe they're just thinking about it. They're ready to take that first step. So that is really helpful for them to know that this is doable as a side hustle.
Yeah. There's that advice you've probably heard, that leap and the net will appear. And I think that's just the worst advice ever. Like that must be a really fun thing to say and believe. But, as someone who has a mortgage to pay, there's no way I'm going to be like, I quit my job and I'll see what happens next. And as I'm falling down to the earth, I assume that a net will appear. No, it's up to us to kind of build our own nets before we and it doesn't have to be a big leap, maybe just a little step down.
Yeah, definitely. So do you have any resources that you would like to share with my listeners to help them get into this world of copywriting, maybe learn more about it and kind of all the things?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of months ago, I'm very excited to announce, mostly because I was trying to make it happen for a while, but I was the bottleneck. It's not my team. But we launched our own podcast, the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast, and having a lot of fun over there. And then also, if your listeners are kind of thinking, I wonder if this is something I might be interested in, we put together a free on-demand training about, landing your first freelance copywriting clients. And it's, even if you're not ready yet to land your first freelance clients, there's still a ton of information about copywriting, about what it's like to work as a copywriter, and all that kind of stuff. And you can find that at freecopywritingtraining.com.
Perfect. And for those listening, I will have the link for the podcast and the free training in the show notes, so y'all can grab that really easily. So if someone wanted to start their Ditch the Classroom journey, but they just felt too overwhelmed, what would you tell them?
I would tell them the same thing that I tell my students, because it's really easy when you're looking at a big project or a big next step to go, oh my God. At first you're excited and you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And you sit down to do it. And it's too much. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest or something like that. Yeah. Break it down into tiny steps and take those tiny steps, because you can finish a marathon taking baby steps as long as you keep taking those steps. Like, yes, it may take you a little bit longer than you wanted it to, but you'll get there eventually if you just keep taking those steps. The people who are quote unquote not successful are the ones who give up, the ones who don't keep taking action, the ones who go, no, it's taking too long, or I'm too afraid. And let's face it, there are all times when we're afraid or we're nervous or we're unsure, but they stop, But if you keep actually just taking those actions, even if they're small ones, you'll get to where you want to go.
Yeah, agreed. And I think as teachers too, we always work with backwards designing towards the goals. So if we have a test we have to give to our students, we have to backwards design, okay, this is where they are. What steps do we need to get to where they'll be able to pass the test or whatever? So I think doing that with your own goals is really crucial as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Very cool. So this has been amazing, and I appreciate you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with my listeners. Where can people come connect with you, become your best friend, and all of that?
Yay, I'm always looking for new best friends. You can find us on the web at filthyrich.writer.com, on Instagram at filthyrich.writer, and on Facebook at filthyrich.writer, and on Instagram especially. We're going live all the time, so if you have questions, we're happy to answer them. All kinds of fun stuff going on.
Very cool. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. To my listeners out there, if you guys want to learn more about copywriting, like what this is this a good fit for you? Make sure to check out the resources in the show notes. Go give Nicki some love. This has just been an amazing episode, so I hope you guys find some good value from it. And yeah, also at the same time, if you're loving this podcast, go leave a review. That just helps me spread my message and find more amazing guests to come on the show like Nicki. So again, thank you, Nicki, so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you. This is so much fun.
See y'all next week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Before you go, make sure you take a minute to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and review, and check out the show notes for a free gift to help you ditch the classroom. If you loved today's episode, can you help me share the message by taking a screenshot, tagging me on Instagram at ariana.vernier, and sharing it with your friends so we can help more mamas ditch the classroom and follow their dreams. Until next week, y'all, keep following the dreams that were placed in your heart so you too can ditch the classroom.